Hello, guys. My name is BJ Min from HowExpert.com, where we publish short how-to guides on unique topics by everyday experts. And today we have a special guest interview with one of our HowExpert authors. His name is Danial Naqvi. He's currently a 20-year-old college student from United Kingdom, London, from Queen's University. He's currently doing study abroad in Texas. He's the author of the book, Golf Bragging Rights, a step-by-step guide to claim bragging rights on the golf course. Now, this book is mainly about having the right mindset to become the best golfer you can be. And Danial, just to give you a brief background, I'm going to read a little brief background about him. He's been playing golf since he was 7 years old. So that's around, what, 20, that's around, what, 12, 13 years. How many years is that? 13 years of experience or whatnot? 13 years of experience. Yeah, that's a long time. So a quick bio about him. Danial Naqvi, he has big dreams and determined ambitions. He studies human geography at Queen Mary University of London and hopes to inspire a generation to assist an unrepresented society in the global sphere. In addition, he has played golf for 13 years and gained a rather unique insight into the game. He has a passion for explaining the psychology of golf to anyone who wants to hear it. That's how you can improve. Between golf and university, he enjoys writing freelance for companies and hanging out with friends. And I do want to show you a little bit about the book here. 1 second. As you can see, this is the book. Behind the background. Hold on a second. Chapter 1, what you're going to learn is amateur advice you should ignore. Chapter 2, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Chapter 3, all the gear, no idea. Chapter 4, get your head in the game. Chapter 5, if you can't play well, cheat. Chapter 6, may the odds forever be in your favor. And bonus chapter, chapter 7, additional tips related to perfecting priceless reaction plays and so forth. So having said that, the author of the book, Danial Naqvi, thank you for coming to the show. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
All right, awesome. So let's go back. You've been playing golf since you were 7 years old. Can you get back to your main story? Like, how did you get involved in golf? How did you start so early?
Yeah, so my dad started me on golf when I was around about 6. So I started playing properly when I was 7. So I started when I was 6. My dad played, he was an immigrant to the United Kingdom. So he started playing when he was about 30. So he got me involved when I was he got involved when I was born. And then when I was 6, I was ready to start playing. I went to the driving range, hit a few balls, and then a coach walked by. This is the famous story that my dad tells me. So a coach walked by and he said that your son's got some real talent there. I've never played golf in my life. And so I went to some lessons, and the very first lesson I went to, the coach came out and he said, your son's too talented for this. He needs to have individual lessons. So that's how I really got involved in golf. And I played to quite a high level, still do play to quite a high level in the United Kingdom.
Now, at what age did the coach say you have talent? When did he recognize that talent? Because coaches with experience do recognize talent. At what age were you?
So I think I had my first lesson when I was 8. So I was 8.
Wow. So he already recognized you were gifted compared to other kids.
Yes.
Okay. That's fantastic. Did your dad also play golf for a long time too? Just curious.
So my dad's been playing golf for 20 years now. He's 50. So he's been playing since he was about 30. So he's been playing golf for a long time. He was playing at the time. He was playing golf for about 7 years, 7, 8 years. So he hadn't been playing golf for that long. But he got me involved, and then we did. I got from the ages of 8 till about 14. I was playing at like county level, which I suppose would be state level here in the US. In golf, yeah.
So in your own words, in a brief nutshell, what is Golf Bragging Rights Guide about from a young golfer's point of view? What is this about? What can people expect to learn?
So I would say the best thing that you'd be able to learn is the fact that we all grow up in a society which is very competitive. Most of us live in capitalist societies, which are very competitive, and that competitive nature stems across all disciplines: sports, culture, economics, everything. So in terms of golf, when you're on the golf course, as much as you want to relax, you want to also beat your friends. So this book will actually give you the best definitions and the best way for you to beat your friends, even if your game's not that good. So it's the best way to utilize your ability, although you might not be the best of people, to be actually playing golf. You want to be out there for fun, but you also want to win. So this book will give you the best opportunity to be able to win, no matter what your ability or no matter how bad of a day you're having.
That is actually very interesting you say that, because I'm not a golfer myself, but so I would think it's all about the techniques. But you mentioned something very interesting earlier, just right now. You said you may not be as good as them, but you can have the potential to beat them. And it's probably something to do with the mindset, the psychology. Can you delve into that, elaborate on that?
Yeah. So, for example, someone might have a better technique than you, but golf is over 18 holes normally. And that normally takes about 4.5 hours. So technique is always going to disintegrate over time. So as much as although you continue the same way and you do the same things, it's always going to get worse and worse. And the reason it gets worse and worse and worse is because your mind is in control of how you swing the club. Because you can't do anything, you can't write down anything, you can't write words on a Word document without your mind. So if your mind's not going to function, then the technique's not going to work. So for the best way for you to utilize your body on the golf course is to just hone in and focus on what your mind wants you to do. So if you can control what your mind does, then technique doesn't matter, because your mind controls what you do. So your technique will automatically get better as you hone in on your mind, because it's 4.5 hours, not sometimes 5 hours of golf. By the halfway stage, you've had enough and you really want to go home. How do you push through the 2.5 hours left you've got to play? And the way to do that is to hone into the mental capabilities of your skills. And if you can do that, you've got the best chance of winning against anyone who's of a similar sort of standard. So I'm saying amateur to amateur instead of amateur to professional.
That is fascinating, because wow, how did you, this has a lot to do with any aspect of life or business. You need to have the right mindset to go out there and be confident in yourself and succeed. And it sounds like golf is the same way, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Can you give us examples? How do you improve your mind that you talk about in this book? How do you improve your mind to win, to be better than others out there in golf?
So there's a chapter in here called Arrogance, Not Confidence. And what I think a few of my my peers were a bit confused when I put that in, if I put it the wrong way around. But it was highly deliberate to put it that way around. So you have to kind of everyone's got this almost immoral side of them where they're very arrogant and that's just in human nature, where people are naturally arrogant. So people tend to suppress that when it comes to most situations, and rightly so. But when it comes to golf, you actually want to be inwardly arrogant. You want to know that you're going to beat the person you're playing, or you're going to shoot that personal best that you've never shot before. Because if you don't, then there's actually no point you stepping on the first tee box, because you're actually setting yourself up to fail. And that leads me on to the preparing to fail chapter. If you're not willing to practice a little bit, even a little bit, before you get on the golf course, then there's actually no point you stepping, because you're just going to embarrass yourself and your ego's just going to go down. So what I'm proposing that is, if you set your ego very high, then when it knocks down, it only knocks down a little bit. But if you set your ego down here and you let it drop and you let it drop and you let it drop, then you're eventually going to hit rock bottom and never pick up a golf club again.
Right.
And that's also what it also happens in business, etc. If you don't set your aspirations high, if you don't set your I think there's a quote there, if you don't set your aspirations at space, if you set your aspirations,
reach the stars and hit the moon.
Yeah, exactly that. So if you don't do that, then what's the point in even starting? So it's the exact same in golf, but people don't understand that. They seem to think that, just go out and have some fun. But at the end of the day, when you're playing with friends, you don't want to have just fun. You want to beat your friends. That's the whole point of going out and playing with friends. Otherwise, you play on your own. And no one wants to play on their own unless they're practicing for a tournament. But if you're playing a casual game of golf, you want to beat your friends. That's the whole point you play golf.
Yeah, it's a competitive game too, right? As you get into more and more into it, like that 17th hole, 18th hole, people want to win.
Yeah, very tense, you know. Like when you watch the games on in the professional sphere, when they play match play. I mean, like the Ryder Cup, for example, when they go and play and they're on the 17th and 18th hole, and it matters for them to win, you have to have that mental strength. And if you don't have the mental strength, that person's just going to run you over, completely run you over, because they're going to be able to know how to manipulate your mind and use your mind better than you know how to use your mind. So that's how the book kind of lets you understand your mind from a golfer's perspective. And I think there are some real world applications to what this book has. Like you can use if you can hone your mind in for golf, you can hone your mind in for anything. So studies, business, you know, interview skills, public speaking skills. You can do all of that stuff if you know how to control your mind. So if you read the book and you understand what the book says, then you can use that and apply it to real world, which I think was quite a good thing that I was able to implement in them.
That is fascinating. So this book is not just about superficial ways of bragging about how great you are, but having the right mindset to win at golf against your friends or whoever you compete with, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And I just want to know specifically what's in, because you've been playing golf for 12, 13 years. You have experience being on the field. It sounds like having that killer instinct. What are you thinking compared to the average players who perform poorly? What are the good golfers that like you and anybody, people you have met? How are they thinking differently? Like examples, how are they thinking in the golf course?
So
compared to the poor players, what are they thinking? Yeah.
So the answer to that is they're thinking of nothing. So that might sound really, really abstract, but so poorer golfers are tending to thinking about everything too much. And what I mean by that is they're trying to worry about what their score was on the last hole, what club they're going to hit on the next shot. So they're not in the present. And the important thing is to be in the present. So I was often told when I was growing up that I needed to switch off between shots. So I needed to be completely focused when I was playing that one shot. And then once I put the club back in the bag and walking to the next shot, I can talk to friends. I can like communicate about anything I wanted to, talk about the weather, talk about sports, talk about whatever, like daily life. And then when I get to my ball for the next shot, I switch off. I switch on again, and I completely block out and have like tunnel vision on what I'm doing. And that's the same when it comes to studies. The thing is, like, people know how to do it when they're used to doing something. So studies, work, they know how to focus in on what they need to focus on. When it comes to golf, these guys completely forget. They throw it out the window. They're like, oh, I'm here on the golf course to relax. I don't want to worry about work. But you don't have to worry about work. You just need to use the same practices that you used there to be in golf. So what golfers are thinking of is literally nothing. They're not thinking about anything. They want to just focus on the shot when they get to the shot, not focus about the shot in 3 holes time. They don't want to know what club they're going to hit on the 4th hole when they're actually on the first. You know, they want to know what they're going to hit on the first, what they're going to do, like how they're going to place themselves to be able to utilize the best angles and the best, you know, trajectories to get into the hole. So that really and truly, the good golfers are thinking of really nothing at all. And it's as simple as that, but it's very complicated to explain. If you say
I totally get you. You're saying the good golfers are present, so they're not really, they don't even want to think about anything. They want to focus in the present moment. Is that right?
For sure, yeah.
To have the best swing as possible, as opposed to poor golfers, they're overthinking everything, so they're not present, so they're not doing it naturally.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Now, you met a professional golfer named Nick Faldo I was researching, and he's won like 90 consecutive wins or whatever. He's a fantastic golfer from the UK, correct?
Yes.
Did you get to have a conversation with him?
So the funny story about that, I met him when I was 9. So I couldn't actually remember if I actually had a conversation with him. But I won his series that he had when I was 9 years old. So that's how I met him.
Wow, you won his series?
Yeah, when I was 9, I won his series.
Out of how many people?
I couldn't tell you. I think it was like a couple of events, and you had to win each event. So I think it was like 2 or 3 events, and you had to win, and then you got invited to his event. So yeah, so it was a long time ago, but yeah, I did meet him, and I have got a picture with him that's in my house.
You've been playing 12 plus years since 7, so I mean, I could tell you're very focused. But like, what did it take you? Any younger golfers out there who aspire to get to your level, like what would what would the advice be for them? Like, what did you have to do to get to your level? What kind of hours, how many hours you worked on this craft? Like, what did you have to do?
I think the best advice I can give anyone that's like a younger sportsman in any field is you've got to love what you do. And I have some very real experience with this. So when I was 8 till about when I was 11, 12, I really loved what I was doing. And then from 11 till about 14, I didn't love what I was doing. So I kind of completely dropped golf.
Really?
And then from 14 onwards, I've really loved the game again. So you've really got to love what you do. And at the moment you stop loving it, you've got to stop, like, completely. You've just got to stop, take a break, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it is, you've got to take a break. So if you stop loving what you're doing, then you've got to completely stop. Otherwise, you're just going to run yourself into a wall. It's like the people who go into careers that they don't really enjoy and then work for 30 years, battle with like mental health issues because they don't enjoy what they do.
Right.
It's the exact same theory, because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, then you know, you've got a whole life to live. But if you don't enjoy what you're doing, then what's the point? So if you want to be a sportsman, make sure that you're 100% committed to the cause and the reason why you're doing it. And if you're not, then you need to reevaluate whether it's the best option for you. I'm not saying there won't be hard times, and I'm not saying there'll be times where you want to quit and you like, you know, it's just spur of the moment things where you want to quit. But generally, if you're feeling unhappy, like continuously over like 3 or 4 months, then reevaluate, because if it's not, it might not be something for you.
Right.
I had to stop for 3-4 years because I didn't enjoy it. Also, I wanted to focus more on my academics, and hence why I'm here at UT Austin now. Otherwise, I probably would have gone on and done golf. But I wanted to focus on my academics. So, I mean, there's life comes into play as well. Golf is important, but life also comes into it. So be focused on what you want to do and make sure it's 100% what you want to do. And don't ever be forced into doing something you don't want to do just because you feel like you should.
Wow.
Always do something because you want to do it, not because you feel like you have to do it to impress someone. That's how I live my life. I always do things I want to do, not because someone wants me to do it. Just I do it because I want to do it.
That's very insightful advice right there from a young man. I mean, totally get you. Like, you started, I could imagine you started when you were young because you were doing it. Your dad, I mean, I'm sure you love your dad, he loves you, but you're young. Yeah, and then you felt like maybe this is, I don't know about this. And then you rediscovered your love for golf. Transition to my next question. How did you discover your love for golf again after taking a break? How did you rediscover that love again for those of people who may be going through that, younger folks? Yeah,
so for me, it was kind of like I was still a member of a golf course and I'd still been involved in golf, but I wasn't playing actively or as actively as I was. So I didn't take a full, complete break. I did still have memberships and I did still kind of play once in a while, but I really didn't play at the same level for 3 or 4 years. And that level was like quite high, so it's hard to get back there. So for me, it was kind of like, I had a lot of friends that were also playing the game.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people that I'd met at school or I'd met through like social events that were also playing. So that got me involved again, because I never used to have someone to play with because everyone was older than me.
Yeah.
Because when you're that age, there are very few people that age playing. So I was always playing against older kids and I never had anything in common with these older kids. But then everything kind of lined up and I was the older kid. So then I was able to play with my peers and everything like that. That was kind of how I got into it. The fact that I had friends to play with instead of playing on my own. And then that, when you play with equal ability people, you get better. And then I eventually got up to the level that I was back at. And I think I got up to that level within 3 years of playing again.
Wow.
So it's not so much that like something drastic happened. It was more that I found similar minded people to be able to play the game with.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, because you become the average of the 5 closest people around you. You hung out with other golfers. They sharpened your mind, and you had a re-desire for the game of golf. Now, a couple more questions. I'm sure you've been playing golf for like 12 years. That's a long time. I mean, from a young age. Mm-hmm. So you've met mentors, people who are successful in golf. What are some additional lessons from that or the book inside that you can share in this interview to other aspiring golfers out there that you learn from these top mentors, and inside the book, what additional tips?
I think any additional tips would have to relate kind of to the diligence that you have to put to it. So linking back to what I said before about commitment. If you see the top players nowadays, I mean, I never believed that I could be someone like Tiger Woods or Jordan Spieth or anyone like that. I don't never believe that that was me. Mainly because I always knew that I wanted to do something a bit more academic, not academic, but not sports. I didn't want to pursue sports. It's just that I knew a lot about it. So hence why I wrote the book and hence why I know so much about the game. But I didn't want to pursue that career. But I think if you want to pursue that career, you've got to be diligent. You've got to know that this is 100% what you're doing and this is 100% what you're going to spend your time on. So what I learned from the top mentors and the top players was that like a lot of people spend like hours on a project in the nighttime. Obviously, you can't play golf in the nighttime. So they would wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to bed at 6 and have one meal in the day and then have their 12-hour sleep and then do the same process over and over and over again. It's about diligence, commitment, hard work, and smart work. Smart work's important as well. You need to work on the things that you're poor at, not work on the things that you're good at because you enjoy doing it. Golf, when you're trying to become the best, it shouldn't be easy to be able to become the best. It's the same in every field. It shouldn't be easy for you to become the best at what you're doing, because if it is, you're clearly not doing something right, or you're clearly like tricking the system. Because if something's easy, nothing's really easy in life. We use the word easy to use it as a relative term, but on its own, it's completely abstract and it shouldn't be used. Nothing's easy.
Right.
So for example, me coming over to the US, that's not easy. Although all I had to do was take a plane. I mean, the plane ride was pretty easy because all I had to do was sit there. But like the emotional factors and the socioeconomic factors of it, that was not easy. So it's just understanding that nothing in life is easy. So whatever you plan on doing, you have to work hard.
Yes.
You don't work hard, then you won't reap the rewards that you deserve to reap, even if you're putting in the hard work. You need to be smart about really what you're doing and make sure that you are efficient and that you have that balance in life, because a lot of golfers, they tend to go straight on about doing golf, but don't worry about the social life. And then when the golf breaks down, they have no social life. So you need to have that balance too.
Right. That is awesome. Like you're so young, but you know a lot of life's lessons. And I think it's because you play golf competitively for 12 years and you learn so much about what it takes to be successful. And at such a young age, I just want to commend you. That's awesome what you already know, and you can take that with you for your future dreams in the academic field. Do you want to explain to us what your dreams are outside of this?
Yeah. So outside of golf, I have a passion. So I'm studying human geography. So I have a passion to extend and develop and promote social development in the world, especially in socially underdeveloped countries. So I'm currently working on a project that will launch in November that aims to create the largest civilian bank of information and stories that will be used for government policy formulation and educational tools in the future. I can't say too much about it because, one, I don't know that much about it, but it's just in very early beta stages. But what I can say is that it will change the way we think about social development in the world in the years to come. And I hope that in 30 to 40 years' time, it can be the thing that I use to propel my journalism career to its absolute height. I think I have a big dream that by 2037, which is 10 years from now, I will have reached 1 million people with this project. So that's kind of the big dream. And yeah, it's gonna launch in early November. So it won't be known till social media till early January next year. But that is the plan and that is the ambition, to take my journalism to the next step. But in terms of golf and everything like that, I will always play golf. It will always be a hobby for me, but it will never be something that, mainly because I'm now too late So if I was to give one final piece of advice, I'd be like, if you want to play golf, make sure that you're 100% diligent and make sure you start early, because the older you get, the less flexible you become. You know, everything becomes a lot harder to do. When you're in your teenage, you will never get your teenage years back. So you need to be able to, as someone who's just come out of their teenage years, you'll never get your teenage years back. You need to utilize that to the best of your ability. But if you want to pursue golf, 110%, I would 110% tell you to go and do that. But you've got to make sure that you actually want it, and you actually want it, not someone else wants it for you.
Wow. I love the ambition and drive that you have at such a young age. And I'm actually very impressed by the wisdom that you have already at this young age. And I think it's really from working hard at this game that's taught you a lot about life. So below this video, guys, whoever watches this video for now and for the future, there will be a link that you can get in contact or website related to his projects. You can go check it out. He's also a freelance writer, so I'll put up a link for that. So if you want to hire this young man who has real life experience being an author, being a writer, very smart, you can contact the link below and go check it out as well. Daniel, thank you for being on this interview. I really appreciate you, and I wish you the best of success in your journey in the future. I'm sure you will, and keep at it, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, take care, Daniel.